This week was insane with all the major market news that I wanted to give you guys the information about, but I'm not sure if we're going to be able to get through everything with this little bit amount of time that we have with each other. So let's get straight into it. The first major news for this week was the Fed meeting. Everybody was waiting to see what Jerome Powell had to say. So he took the stand and he let us know that we're getting a 25-point basis cut on interest rate. But the thing is, we kind of already expected that with the predictive market saying that we were going to get that 25-point basis cut. But the main thing was what he said on the podium after he announced the 25-point rate cut. He started dropping bars and he said, hey, the labor market is slowing down, which we kind of already knew, but the government has been closed. But the next main thing he said that kind of threw the stock market in shambles was he said that on the December Fed meeting, there is a possibility that we will not receive rate cuts. And everybody was very alarmed on that because they thought that we were going to consistently receive rate cuts, that we bring the interest rate to almost 0% again. So like always, markets do not like uncertainty, and that kind of sent the stock market down from an all-time high. But that Fed meeting wasn't the end to all the important data that we got this week, because this week we started major earnings season, and some of the biggest companies in the United States reported earnings from companies that you know like McDonald's, Uber, and Starbucks. But the earnings I'm going to go over with you guys are the earnings that dictate the whole market, and those are the biggest companies in the United States, and there are the major tech stocks. The first one that reported earnings was Meta, and Meta is a huge company that everybody uses, from Instagram to Facebook, and Meta showed their earnings. And if you look right here, you actually see Meta did beat on earnings per share and revenue, but Meta did report a one-time tax charge that did now up their expenses for the year. Now their expenses are more than they estimated. If you look at the chart for Meta, you'll see that Meta was down over 9% in a single week. That is a huge drop in one of the biggest companies that everybody used. But then going forward to the next big tech stocks was Apple. Apple did report earnings as well. And if you look right here, you'll see their earnings per share and revenue actually did beat. And if you look at the headlines right here, you'll see that Apple actually went up on iPhone 17 sales. And that's kind of weird to me. If you ask anybody you know, it seems like everybody continues to have the exact same iPhone and nobody's upgrading it. So where is this demand coming from? So actually, just to do a test for my viewers, in the comments, put what iPhone that you currently using, just so I can see if this data is real or not. Now, the next big company that did report earnings was Amazon. And if you look at the chart right here, you'll see that Amazon took off this week. If you look at this headline, you'll see Amazon had a great earnings with earnings per share and revenue beat as well. So again, we're seeing a mixed bag from these tech stocks, with Meta being down, but Apple and Amazon having a great earnings, as well as a stock that's always mentioned by B, and that's Nvidia. Nvidia hit $5 trillion. That's the first company that's a $5 trillion market cap in the United States. So that was a huge event. Now, the last major event was the meeting between China and the United States. So Donald Trump and President Yi of China met together and they finally came with a deal. Now, the big headlines for this meeting is China is now going to buy tons of USA soybeans, and that was something that the United States wanted. But the main deal is rare earth materials. Now, about 2 videos before, I let you guys know how important those rare earth materials are to build all things that we use today-to-day basis. So now United States and China have a deal that China is going to trade some of that rare earth to United States. But one of the other things from that deal was China said they're going to start eliminating the fentanyl that's coming from China to the United States. And United States is actually going to take the tariffs down 10%. So before it was about 57% on China, now it's 47%. Now that's not the 0% that everybody was hoping, but that's way better than 155% that was going to get put on the 1st of November by President Trump. So again, it's a lot of things that happened this week, and next week we're going to have a lot of major earnings report. But again, this is the weekly market recap. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.